You're watching the Lazy Reviewers, and this is my full review of the Xiaomi Mi 10T 5G. I've been using this phone for about a month now, and I think I know everything there is to know about this phone. So let's get right into it. Let's do this in order of noticeability, and all the timestamps will be in the description box below. Starting off with the physical aspects of the phone, this phone is available in two different colors, Cosmic Black and Lunar Silver. I chose this color of the phone, the Lunar Silver, because it's not that bland and I like a bit of personality on my phones. It has a really cool light reflection pattern and I really dig it. Moving on, this by no means is an average sized phone. It has a really thick body and it has a lot of weight as well, clearly not for people with smaller hands. I have pretty average sized hands, so I can live with it, I guess. What I can't live with is this camera bump. It is huge. The back of this phone is made of Gorilla Glass 5 and that means a lot of fingerprint smudges. The good materials used on this phone do give it a premium feel, but I do not like the way the back of this phone curves but the front does not. Feels really awkward. The phone is 6.5 inches tall, 3 inches wide and 0.37 inches thick. Yes, it's almost half an inch thick. That's without counting the camera bump. I don't get why with technology getting more compact, phones are going back to being bulkier. This phone is listed as being 216 grams and that's a bit too heavy for my liking. The problem with this phone is not the weight itself, but it's the weight balance. The S21 Ultra is listed as being 30 grams heavier than this one, but this feels a lot heavier to hold. Moving on to the sides of the phone, on the right side we have our volume rocker along with our power button fingerprint sensor combo. The bottom side has our main speaker with a microphone and SIM tray along with our USB Type-C. The SIM tray does have a rubber lip around it to offer at least some protection. The left side of the phone is completely clean, while on the top we have our secondary speaker and a noise cancellation microphone. There is also an IR blaster on the top. Sadly, no 3.5mm headphone jack to be found anywhere. All around the phone we have a lot of antennas for the phone's 5G capabilities, and that's all about it for the phone's body. Now let's get to the good stuff. On the front we also have Gorilla Glass 5. The display, oof. We have a 6.67 inch 144Hz FHD HDR10 Plus 650 nits 395 ppi IPS LCD panel. Yes, I know that's a lot, so let me break it down for you. The display refreshes 144 times every second. It has a 395 pixels per inch on the screen and the peak brightness of the display is 650 nits. The display also has HDR10 Plus and hence the colors and the brightness of the screen will offer a better content consumption experience. The display is however IPS instead of OLED, so the outdoor viewing experience and the colors won't be as great. All the tech aside, the display on this phone is really good, and coming from a 60Hz panel, this is life-changing. Definitely a fun experience. Moving on to the internals of the phone, the processor is the Snapdragon 865. It has 4 high performance cores and 4 high efficiency ones. The GPU is the Adreno 650. The phone has 8 or 6 GB of RAM depending on the version you buy. Either way, you're gonna have an amazing gaming experience. We already have a detailed video on the gaming experience. The link for that will be in the description box below. The phone does have more than enough power to do anything you throw at it. I was running 3 really intensive games on it at the same time and the phone was barely breaking a sweat. About storage, the phone doesn't have a memory card slot, but it does have 128GB of UFS 3.1 storage. The SIM tray is really compact and has 2 SIM slots back to back. Taking a look at the camera setup, on the back we have a 64 megapixel sensor with an f1.9 aperture. This is our main camera. Along with that we have a 123 degrees ultra wide lens at f2.4 with a 13 megapixel sensor. Moving to the front camera, in a small hole punch at the top left corner we have our 20 megapixel selfie camera. The camera app is simple to use but is also packed with a lot of features. The phone does suffer in harsh conditions and the stabilization on 8K is pretty bad. Selfies are pretty good unless you got anything to do with the strong light in the shot. If you are interested in a detailed review of the camera with picture and video samples, the link will be in the description box below. The sound quality on this phone is pretty average. We do have a stereo setup and it sounds average. Here's an audio test for anyone watching with headphones on. There is no headphone jack, so you're pretty much stuck with using wireless earphones with this one. For connectivity, we have Bluetooth 5, GPS, NFC, IR and USB Type-C 2.0. The phone does have a lot of sensors. The side-mounted fingerprint sensor, an accelerometer, a gyro, a proximity sensor for calls, a compass and a barometer. The battery life on this phone is pretty good, a 5000 mAh cell with 33 watts of fast charging. That's more than enough juice to get you through at least one day of extreme usage with just a little over an hour's worth of charge. Next, let's talk about the user interface. We have our MIUI 12 with Android 10 upgradable to Android 11. There's a lot of bloatware and Mi applications. Lastly, let's talk about the price of the phone. On Amazon, this phone is listed for $490 US, but you can get it for a lot cheaper in a lot of places. The price is however justified. I find that this phone is providing a lot that phones in a lot higher price do not. Well, that's all we have for you today. Do tell us what devices you'd like to see in the future and like the video if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more to the point unboxings, reviews and much more.